In this video, you're going to learn what a generator is and how to create one in Python. There are many ways to create a sequence of things in Python. There are iterables like list and tuples, and iterators which support the dunder next method. But there is another way to create a sequence, and that is a generator. Generators are iterators that allow you to iterate over them one single time. Look at the examples. On the left you see a generator that generates numbers, and on the right you see a generator that generates a deck of cards. Let's take the number generator as our example. Let's pretend we did not know there was something like range in Python and we would implement range ourselves. There are many ways to do this, and we will just pick one. Create a function that returns a regular list of numbers. Let's create a function called myRange, and it will take a limit. This is how far we will count. We will return a list eventually, and we will start at the number 0. We create a while loop. While I is less than limit, we append I to the list. We increment I with 1. And finally, we return the list. So the nice thing here is that I can write a for loop, write I in myRange. Let's say we will count to 5. And we print I. So if I execute this, this is the result. We count from 0 to 4. No surprises here. But there is something wrong about this code. In line 9, we call the function myRange with argument 5. At that moment, our myRange function will create a list and return that list to us. So we have now created a data structure, a list of 5 elements, and we really don't need it because we're not going to do anything with it. Now you might say, well, a data structure of 5 elements, it's not that much of a problem. But let's say that this would be 50,000 or even 50 million items. In this case, the myRange function would create a list with 50 million items, and we really don't need it. So how can we solve this problem? We can solve it with a generator, because if we use a generator, then only one item each time will be returned, and that item will be reused every iteration. Let me show you how this looks like. So we will keep this myRange function, because if we are going to create a generator, it is still a function. The only thing that is different is that instead of returning stuff, we are going to yield stuff. So let me show you how. So first of all, we don't need this list anymore. We will still use a while loop, but instead of appending something to a list that does not exist anymore, we will now yield I. So we still are going to increase I every while loop iteration, but we don't need to return anything at the end. So let me execute this with 5 items. And as you see, the result is the same, 0 to 4. So the difference between a regular function and a generator is that a function returns something at the end, and a generator can yield things while it's being executed. And every time you yield something, you give the control back to the caller, in this case my for loop, and the function will be frozen. And when I come to the next iteration of the for loop, The function, the generator, will be called again, but it doesn't start at line 2. It starts where it left off the last time. So to recap, if you create a generator, you can iterate over it one time. And instead of creating one large data structure that you return at the end of a regular function, you now have a very lightweight element that you yield each time. I hope this helps you when you need to make a decision next time on how to create structures like this.